Okay, welcome everyone. I'm so glad that you could be here. Happy New Year. The beginning of, there's going to be so much magic this year. There's also going to be so much challenge because, it's another year. But welcome to it. Welcome to 2025. I'm so glad that you're here showing up for yourself on this first session. Well done. I have not had enough sleep yet. So my apologies if I'm extra level weird. Also, you may notice I'm in a different space. So enjoy the differences. So let's just begin. We're just going to settle into our bodies, just landing here in this moment. And you might like to close your eyes down and take a nice big inhale through the nose and breathe into the core of you. Maybe pausing at the top of that breath for a moment. And then when you're ready, we can exhale that breath with a nice big sigh. And again, just breathing in nice and deep. And just coming to really land in the body, really start to notice how you're feeling in this moment. You might be feeling called to make some little micro adjustments, maybe shrugging your shoulders, maybe just moving your midsection, maybe you just want to stretch your neck a little. Whatever your body is calling for you to do in this moment as you take a few deep breaths and start to really land here. Now, because I'm in a new space, I've forgotten to get a worry bowl. So we're going to use the worry handbag today. And we're going to dump everything in this one. So you can go ahead and place your hands across your chest and just begin that bilateral tapping. As you bring to the forefront of your mind anything that you would like to place into the worry handbag to be carried off somewhere else. And so just bringing to the forefront of your mind anything that's been worrying you or angering you, stressing you out in any way, or anything that you want to say to someone, anything at all that you don't want to carry into this practice, into this time that we have together, or anything that you don't want to be carrying into this new year. You can go ahead and place it now in the worry handbag. Maybe you'd like to express it through some sound, speak it out loud, or maybe sigh it out. Or maybe just imagine it making its way out of you. In whichever way that you are expressing these things from your mind and from your body, I welcome you to join me in a few more deep breaths and focusing each exhale on releasing some tension in the body. So you might like to begin with your legs. On the exhale, next exhale you take, just relax them a little more, let go of the tension in your thighs and your knees and your calves. And the next breath, we might let go of any tension in our lower back or our upper back, our stomach, just letting that go with a sigh. And the next breath, you might like to focus on your neck and shoulders, your arms maybe. Just letting go of that tension that might be held there as well. And one more big breath in, breathing into the core of you, breathing in through your nose. And then a big sigh, letting go. And we'll get rid of that worry handbag. We'll dump it outside later. And now, like I said, I'm going to try and be quiet myself. So I'm going to do the brushing version of our chi tapping, but you feel free to go ahead and tap your way over your body. But before we do, let's give our subconscious mind permission to release anything that it's been storing and holding on to. So just repeating after me, saying, I give my subconscious mind permission to release my worries and fears now. And so moving over the body, if you're doing the tapping, just beginning with slightly cupped hands on your belly and tapping your way up your body. Or if you prefer to join me in the gentler version, we're just going to brush over these parts of us, moving our life force energy all throughout the body. Just moving and appreciating each part of us as we move over it. And if you're brushing, don't worry, you still have an opportunity for a big happy seal because you can go this way. And then just brushing or tapping your way up the outside of your arm. And giving yourself a big pat on the back or a big brush on the back. And moving down this side, thanking our arms, thanking them for being able to do big happy seals. Round of applause. And back up this outside the arm, all the way up, giving yourself a big pat on the back, showing up for yourself today. And little raindrops down the center of the face. See if you can soften your expression a little. Another row slightly further out. And one more down the sides of the face. And gentle fists over the top of your head and down around to the back of your neck. 3 rows here as well. And then finding your kidneys, giving yourself a rub or a tap on the lower back before we move down the outside of our legs. And coming back up the inside as well. And coming to rest your hands back on your belly and just taking a moment with your eyes closed once again, breathing in nice and deep. To just check in with how it feels to be in your body today. Without any judgment, just really noticing the internal sensations that might be moving through your body, or noticing what parts are still feeling a little stuck. Maybe where you're still holding a little tension. And just noticing it there. Noticing your thoughts, whether they are future thoughts, past thoughts, present thoughts. You might like to just start to introduce a gentle sway from side to side. Maybe just very slight, as though you're a little blade of grass in the breeze. Maybe they get a little wider each time you move from side to side. Maybe you want to take that movement forward, maybe rotating around, or just starting to free flow with your body, exploring how it would like to wake up in this moment. What movements does your body call for right now? You might be bringing your arms into it. You might even be bringing some sound into it as well. That gentle hum. Just exploring anywhere your body would like to go. Maybe you'd like to do a bit of shaking. Maybe your movements are a little more quick. Maybe you want to move your arms around. Really see what you can shift. Really see what you can awaken. And if that's feeling really good for you to keep exploring, then just continue to do so. You might like to join me by just taking your arm across your chest and just giving it a gentle stretch there, maybe flexing your hands, waving, giving the finger, whatever you would like to do. Any hand signal you would like to welcome in to this new year. Just coming back to the breath, remembering to breathe nice and deep, slowing everything down. And when you're ready, taking one arm over the top of your head, you might like to grab that elbow, and maybe just staying here is enough for you, but you might like to just lean it over to the side. A nice stretch in that side body of yours. And as always, just tuning into your body, noticing when it's telling you to come back to center. Once you feel that signal of your body come back, and switch it over with your arms. Take it over for the lean on the other side. Noticing the difference here, if there is any. Maybe it feels just the same on this side. And when you're ready, coming back to center, we'll take our arms all the way down around behind us, clasp them back together behind. And just pull them away from your body if that feels good. Maybe you want to lean forward as well. Maybe you'd like to also get a twist going here. So just twisting gently from side to side. And when you're ready, you can release your hands, make any little adjustments you might need to make. We're going to lean back and just really get some movement in our hips. So dropping our knees over to one side and then rotating them over the other way. Excuse me. No, I was not up all night drinking. Just get random hiccups. And just moving through your little windscreen wipers. And if you are seated, then just doing a similar motion, just dropping one knee at a time, making sure you're nice and stable in the chair. And if that one's feeling really good to explore that movement in your knees and in your hips, then you can keep going with that. Or you might like to bring your feet in together and just hold onto your ankles for a moment, maybe pulling them as tight in as you can. Really straighten up your spine here and take a breath in. And if this feels really nice, just to have that opening there in your hips, you might like to just stay exactly here. You might even like to sort of pull your body forward, maybe even walking your hands forward, really increasing that stretch here, that opening in the groin and the hips. Allowing for that release of any tension, any trauma that you might be storing here. This one's a big area of stored tension and trauma. So we'll just allow ourselves to sit in it for a moment and see what's there to be felt. You might be noticing sensations in this area, but also maybe sensations in your heart. Or maybe for you, there's some sensations in your throat. Just take that moment to tune in without any judgment, noticing what's happening in your body, what's moving through you, what's trying to get out of you. And see if you can allow it to move through and release from your body without any resistance. Not trying to avoid feeling it, just allowing it. When you're ready, you can bring yourself out of that stretch. If you'd like to stay seated, maybe just coming back into cross-legged, or if you're on a chair, just making yourself comfortable. We're just going to do some core rotations and some movement with our core, so you can push your belly out and your shoulders back, your head up to the sky, and then curling it over and arching that back, tucking the head in. And of course, if you are on the mat and you're able to get on your hands and knees, then you might prefer to be exploring that movement, dropping your belly down, head up, and then arching the back in the opposite direction. And maybe also exploring a little bit more movement here. So maybe you want to take your hips from side to side for those of you on the mat. Or maybe taking your weight forward or backwards, or a figure of 8 with your hips. Maybe dropping a shoulder at a time. Just see whatever your body's calling for. And of course, you can be doing similar explorations from a seated position. So it might look more like doing some rotations here. Or just dropping one shoulder, pulling the other back, and then switching it over. Just making those movements and holding once you get to a certain place, or maybe you prefer to free flow again, whatever feels right for you. It is your time to explore your body. There is no right or wrong way to do that. And for those of you who are on the mat, if your wrists get tired at any point, I welcome you to just open up your knees, sit back onto your heels and take the weight off your wrists. Just walking your hands forward, really stretching out the back of your shoulder blades. So just resting at any stage that you need to. And if you're ready to try another position, then I invite you to bring one of your knees forward in between your hands, for those of you on the mat, and stretch out that back leg behind you. And just holding yourself up in that sort of, I guess, seated lunge forward. And just stabilizing there for a moment. If you can, reaching your hands up over your head. And then creating a nice little pillow in front of you, resting your face down onto that pillow you've created, and just breathing through anything that's coming up to be released. And if you're seated, we can recreate a similar position, just crossing your legs, arms up overhead, and then leaning your body forward. Maybe you want to hold your arms out, or maybe you want to fold all the way over. Totally up to you, whatever feels right. And for those of you who are on the mat, you might like to just wiggle your hips from side to side and have a little bit of movement there. Or you might just like to rest in some stillness. And if your body has signaled to you it's time to come up out of that position, then come on up. I'll switch it over to that other leg, doing the same things, taking it forward, or if you're seated on the chair, just crossing it over the other one, stabilizing for a moment. And then reaching up overhead and creating that nice little cushion for your head in front of you. And either just resting in stillness or getting that movement in your hips, or just folding your body forward over yourself if you are seated on a chair or the edge of a bed. And when you're ready, once your body has signaled to you to come up out of that position, we'll come on out. If you want to go back into some sort of resting pose, sitting back on your heels, perhaps really opening up your chest, opening up your shoulder blades. And if you're on a chair, then that might look like just opening up your hips and leaning right into it. And then when you're ready, we're going to come back up onto our buttocks and lower ourselves down onto our backs for those of us on the mat. So you might like to engage your core a little bit as we go down. And just leaning back so you can feel your stomach muscles engaging here, lifting your legs if you like, maybe doing a bit of pedaling. And just holding, feeling that strength building, feeling the heat building. Maybe you're feeling some shakiness. Listening as always to your body when it's telling you it's had enough, so just lower yourself down. And anyone seated, then just creating some strength in your belly, leaning yourself back, engaging those muscles as well. And from here, you might like to take it forward And just engage those muscles of yours to strengthen your core from behind. And those of us on the mat can do a similar strengthening by lifting ourselves up, and you'll feel the back of you engaged to hold you there, as well as your legs. Feeling all of this area strengthening from this position. If this feels too easy for you, maybe you want to put your feet together and lift yourself up and hold here. Noticing that little bit of instability there, your body working harder to hold you. You might just like to lower and rest, and then try again, maybe cycling through 2 positions. And anyone who's seated, just moving back and forth with your body, engaging that core from the front and behind. It's really strengthening this area to help with stability in all other movements throughout all other days of your life. This one here with your feet together and lifted up with your hips open is a really good one for releasing trauma and tension in your hips. The more you get that shakiness, the more comes up to be released. But we don't want to be overdoing it, so just listening to your body as always. And when you're feeling ready, you can just lower yourself back onto the mat and put your feet together, let your knees fall out either side, just for an opening here, but a really restful one. So just having that opening there in your hips and your groin. You might like to bring your hands up either side to join that big opening there in your center. And just take a few intentional breaths into the center of you. And anyone who is staying seated for this practice, then you might just like to have an opening there and a similar focus of your breath coming into the core of you. Just really focusing in on how that breath is moving through your body. Not trying to change it, just noticing it as it moves through you. And if this position feels really nice for you to be in, then just stay exactly here. If you want to reposition yourself, and you might like to lengthen your legs, or maybe place your hands by your sides, facing up for receiving, facing down for grounding. Or you might like to reposition yourself if you're seated and just make sure that you're comfortable wherever you are. We're just going to take this moment of quiet, peaceful stillness and do a little guided visualization. So just making yourself comfortable, taking a few more deep breaths. And just feeling that deeper connection with your body as you notice that breath moving through you. Maybe feeling connected a little deeper within yourself. And just relaxing your body into the furniture, whatever surface might be beneath you. And just really noticing that feeling of whatever it is beneath you, whether it's a hard surface, maybe there's softness there. But just really noticing how that supports your body, the places where your body connects with that surface. And maybe as you notice this feeling of support, you're noticing how it feels to be in a supportive community, to know that you are not alone on this journey, that you don't have to face these challenges alone, that you can be supported in this space here together. And just noticing how that feeling lands within you, knowing that you're not alone. noticing any effect it might have on your heart or how your heart beats in your chest. Maybe noticing how support might change the way that your breath moves through your body. Perhaps it moves a little slower. And your awareness might be drawn to the way that your belly moves and then the way that your ribs and your chest move as that air travels from outside of you deep into your internal world. And you might be slightly more aware of your internal world in this moment, perhaps noticing those internal sensations that you maybe didn't notice before as you went about your day. Or you might be choosing to focus on external sensations like the temperature of the air on your skin. Or maybe you're aware of the texture underneath your fingertips. Or maybe your attention is drawn to the feeling of your facial muscles relaxing and your expression softening a little further. You can allow your attention to travel anywhere you choose. And as you choose where to place your awareness, you might find yourself drawn to the sensation of your body beginning to relax. And as you relax deeper into your body and relax deeper into the space where your body rests in this moment, I invite you now to go ahead and give yourself permission to be exactly who you are and to be exactly where you are right now. And having given yourself this permission, you might be noticing that you are able to relax even deeper now, knowing that here, in this moment, you are safe. And from this place of safety and deep relaxation, I invite you to imagine yourself in a lush, vibrant rainforest. The air is warm and you can feel that familiar slight humidity and warmth on your skin as the scent of earth and foliage surrounds you. And each step you take is soft, the ground beneath your feet covered in a thick layer of moss and fallen leaves. And you can hear the distant call of birds and the rustling of leaves as a gentle breeze passes through. The sounds of nature harmonize around you, creating a symphony of life. And you're able to feel a sense of curiosity and openness to explore this rich and mysterious world. And with each step you take, you notice how the trees tower above you. Their roots go deep, anchoring them firmly to the earth. And as you look upon them, admiring their strength, you're able to consider the ways in which these trees have learned to bend, to sway with the winds and the rains that pass through the forest. They have learned to thrive, not in spite of the challenges they face, but because of them, growing stronger with each challenge they encounter. And imagining that as you continue your journey through the rainforest, you notice a small, delicate butterfly fluttering by. Its wings are a brilliant display of colours, shimmering in the dappled sunlight that filters through the canopy above. And this butterfly has travelled through many storms, through darkness and light, through times of uncertainty. And yet here it is, free and beautiful, dancing on the breeze. And you're able to appreciate the beautiful way it moves through life in this moment, whilst knowing that this butterfly wasn't always this way. Knowing that it started life inside a tiny egg, vulnerable and fragile, not knowing what it would become. It then transformed into a caterpillar, inching its way along, facing each obstacle one by one. And when the time was right, it built a cocoon around itself, a place of safety, a place of transformation. And in that cocoon, it let go of what it once was, embracing the unknown and trusting in the process, even when it couldn't see what lay ahead. And just like this butterfly, you too have faced challenges, uncertainties, and probably many moments of doubt. There have been times when you couldn't see what the future would hold, when it felt easier to rely on forces outside of yourself, to question whether you could navigate the unknown. And yet deep inside, there is a part of you that has always known that real transformation begins from within. Deep down inside you, there is a knowing that you can choose to trust in your own strength, that you can begin that inner transformation too. As you watch the butterfly, imagine yourself stepping into its shoes, or rather its wings, and feel what it's like to be in that cocoon where everything is dark and where the future is uncertain. And just notice any discomfort that arises, any longing for certainty, for knowing exactly what will happen next. And then imagine yourself surrendering to that uncertainty, letting go of the need to know, and instead trusting in the process. Trusting that, just like the butterfly, you have within you the wisdom and strength to emerge on the other side, transformed, stronger, and more vibrant than before. And imagine watching as the butterfly breaks free from its cocoon, noticing how it doesn't question its ability to fly, doesn't doubt its new form. It simply spreads its wings and takes flight, navigating the world with grace and ease. It trusts in its own instincts, in its own ability to find its way, even in the most unfamiliar of landscapes. Now imagine yourself as this butterfly yet again, and this time soaring above the rainforest. You are no longer at the mercy of the winds, but rather you dance with them, using them to guide your flight. Feel the freedom that comes with knowing that you are in control, that you have the power to navigate through whatever life brings your way. The external forces are still there, the winds and the storms and the changing seasons, but they no longer control you. Instead, you use them, adapt to them, and continue your journey, always moving forward. Perhaps you'd like to imagine yourself coming down, flying down into a peaceful area within the rainforest. Simply letting yourself be with nothing to do, and just coming back to being a human being, allowing yourself to land. And as you sit there being a human being for a moment, I want to remind you of one of my favorite stories of the butterfly, and that there was once a young girl who saw a butterfly struggling to come out of its cocoon. And so she decided to help it and cut open the cocoon. And so the butterfly was free, but it just stumbled around and then it died. Because you see, the butterfly needs the struggle against the cocoon to build the strength of its wings. Without that process, it doesn't build that strength and it cannot fly, and therefore it cannot live. And I like to think of this in times of struggle and challenge for myself. In some of my darkest moments, I return to that vision, knowing and trusting that the struggle I'm encountering is what is forging me. It's what is strengthening me. And so you might like to hold that vision at times when you feel like you're in a struggle cocoon. And I invite you to take a few breaths and start to bring your awareness back to the present moment. And just noticing if your body is calling for you to make any movements in your body. You might be reconnecting with the sounds in your space, or maybe reconnecting with sensations moving through you. Maybe you're noticing different thoughts moving through your mind as you process, as you return from that beautiful rainforest and come back to the present moment. And so you might like to just stretch your body in some way. If you're lying yourself down, maybe you want to just stretch yourself out to the sides. Or maybe your hands over your head, really elongating your body like a cat in the morning. Maybe you want to roll your wrists and roll your ankles. Maybe you want to bring your knees up and curl yourself into a ball. Just gently roll around, massaging your back on the mat or on the ground. Or maybe if you're seated, you like to just fold yourself over and get that similar feeling of closeness for your body. Just taking a moment to really support and nurture yourself. And if this feels really good to stay here, then I welcome you to just remain in that closeness with your body. If you like, you can just stretch one of your legs out, hold the other knee to your chest before crossing that knee over your body and creating a nice big side twist, reaching the opposite arm out the other way. And just breathing through any release that needs to happen here in your side body. And if you're seated, then just creating a similar twist. So crossing one leg over, grabbing hold of that knee, taking the other arm around. And when you're ready, just coming back to center and switching it over to the other side. Maybe holding that other knee to your chest for a moment, another little time of closeness before you cross that leg over the body. Stretch out the other way. Crack your back if you need to. Now, if there's any other positions that you ever need to do, then go ahead and do those. I know often I'll return to some really similar positions each session, mostly because of the benefit that they bring for the release of issues in the tissues, as I like to call it. Those things that we store in our fascia. So these twisting motions are really good for releasing these things that we store, the tension and trauma. When you're ready, you can bring your knee back up and just cross the other foot over it and reaching through, grabbing hold of the back of that thigh and just releasing anything that's there in the back of your hamstring. I know that some of you've spoken up about these being your favorite ones. But if you have other positions that your body would like to go into in these moments, then you just follow your intuition and do what your body is calling for. Once your body has had enough on this side or doing whatever you're doing, switching it over to the other leg, reaching through, grabbing hold of the back of that thigh. Just realize I didn't give you the seated variation. It's just creating that same position with your legs and leaning down towards it. You're creating the exact same stretch in the back of your thigh. You can lean a little or lean a whole way over. It's totally up to you. But don't let the fact that you're seated stop you from participating in movement. Which one was I doing? This one. And once you're ready, you can release your body from that one as well. Might feel good to reach through, grab hold of the back, the outsides of your feet, and just open yourself up to the world. Nice big opening once again in your hips. And maybe rolling yourself around a little bit, massaging that back on the mat. Or maybe from that seated position, you are opening in a similar way. Maybe you're leaning yourself right down, holding the body there. Maybe you're even touching the outsides of your feet. Depends how much stability you have when you lean your body over from that seated position. And when you're ready, you can just bring your legs back to straight or just seat yourself comfortably. We're just going to move through a tense and release exercise now. So we'll begin just by scanning over the body, scanning from the bottom of your feet to the top of your head. Just noticing where you're still storing some tension. No judgment, just really checking in with the body. And then we're going to do some breaths. And as we breathe in, we'll tense an area. I'm going to hold on to the breath and the tension. And then when you're ready, you can let go. So you can use my exhale as your cue to let go, or you can hold for less or more time. It's totally up to you. Just tune into your body. But let's begin now with our feet, breathing in nice and deep. Holding the tension, holding the breath. Relaxing and letting go. And next we're going to focus from ankles to knees. Deep breath in, tightening it all up. And next from knees to buttocks. Deep breath in, tightening up those thighs. And the next breath in, we're going to focus on our lower belly, lower back. Deep breath in now. And the next breath, we'll focus on our chest and our upper back. Deep breath. And we're going to focus next on our neck and shoulders. Deep breath in. And next, we're going to do our arms from fingertips to shoulders, both sides. Deep breath. And now we're going to focus on our face. Deep breath in, contort that face in a ridiculous shape. We'll do one more. This time it's up to you which area you'd like to focus on. Maybe you want to do a few or all of your body. So deep breath in now, where you go. And relaxing, letting go. And just allowing for a few deep breaths to just return to your natural rhythm. If you like, you might like to place one hand on your belly and one hand on your chest and really get a sense of how that air moves through you as you return to your natural rhythm. And when you feel ready, for those of you who are on the mat, we're just going to roll ourselves gently to one side and press ourselves up off that mat, coming back to a seated position. If you need to get yourself some water, just recalibrate in that upright position. We're going to open up our lymphatic flow for the day. Just bringing your attention to your collarbones and rubbing back and forth just above and below that bony area. It's getting the flow of toxins to open up for us. Once you've rubbed back and forth about 10 times, just tapping on that area. And the other side. And tapping. And then coming back up to your jawline. I'm just going to rub downwards in this section. Excuse me. And tapping in. And on the side as well. Gentle fists downwards on the chest, back and forth from the center to the edges. And then join me in big gorilla. And then massaging underneath your arms. And just punching into that crevice there. And on the other side. And then underneath your breasts or pecs, just alternating that top hand back and forth. Then all-time fave, looking real sus in the groin, just massaging down in that crease. And underneath your knees, the last one. And we'll continue on with our tapping This time I'm going to join you for some loud tapping. We begin on our belly, tapping away all the way up onto your chest. Tapping down over one side, down to the middle, for some big rounds of applause, big happy seagulls, yeah. And tapping your way back up. Big pat on the back for being here today and every other day. And tapping away over this other arm. And another big round of applause for us. Oh yeah! Happy seal, happy walrus, or monkey with symbols, whatever you want to picture. And tapping your way back up. Another big pat on the back. Pushing through whatever internal or external blocks and barriers you've had in your life. And just allowing those gentle raindrops over your face to wash away any remaining tension that might be stored there. Just tapping it off your face and tapping over your head and onto the back of your neck. Another row slightly further out. And above the ears and down and around. And then just finding your kidneys, giving yourself a pat on the lower back and tapping your way down. And resting your hands back on your belly for a moment. Closing your eyes down. And we're just going to settle in for a little peaceful, quiet moment with ourselves. Just allowing for another little check-in like we did in the beginning. Just really noticing what is moving through you. What has risen up to be felt, to be healed, to be released? And what is settling? What is landing in you? What is allowing you to anchor into yourself? Just really noticing what's happening within you. All the sensations, all the stories attached to those. No judgment, just noticing what's truly alive within you. What's alive in your mind? What sort of thoughts are you having? And just becoming really aware of your breath once again. Not trying to change it, just noticing how it moves through you. Are you breathing in your chest or are you breathing in your belly? And when you're ready, I invite you to join me. We're going to finish up our session with 3 lovely big sounds of VOO. So V-O-O-O continuously. And so you're welcome to do it just with your hands in your lap, but I encourage you to just bring one hand onto your diaphragm, one on your chest, and really feel from the outside and the inside what happens in your body when you make this sound. So really noticing the vibrations, really noticing the way that your heart beats, and noticing how your diaphragm expands and contracts. So I invite you to join me in a nice big inhale now. Breathing in again when you're ready. One more big breath in. just want to thank you all for being here, for being part of this healing community once again, for showing up for yourselves. Hopefully you're feeling more zen, more blissed out. And if you're feeling really emotional, allow that too. This is a really good opportunity to allow it to move through you, to cry any tears that may need to be cried, and to release that emotion that's stored in your body. So yeah, give yourself that time to see what's there to be felt. And if you need to have a nap, that's great. Have a great big old nap, because your body is now probably in its most optimal healing state, that rest and digest state. So allow it that time to really settle in and heal. So thank you again. I'll go ahead and end the recording. There'll be details in the chat, not the chat, what's it called? The description, if you wanted to make donations and those sorts of things. But as always, you're welcome to show up without needing to pay. This is a safe, accessible space always. So thank you.